In this video, we're going to do a overview of the chapter in your book, Chapter 5. So, or should I say review. Chapter 5 covers the creation of lists, how you create them, how you index them, how you slice them, how you add and delete items from the list, how you can append and sort list items. You'll take a look at nested sequences, in other words, making tables, and also how dictionaries work, and how you can add and delete dictionary items. So a lot of stuff in there. As usual, some of the stuff that is in the book is not covered in my videos. Some of the stuff in my videos is not covered in the book. I try to make it so that I prepare you for reading the book. I don't want to read you the book. So what I'd like you to do is go through and start reading Chapter 5. You'll find he's going to introduce a hangman's game and then move on to list, and another thing where he's got like a role-playing game where he's got an inventory system for some hero or heroine. You would at that point go through and make a collection of items: sword, shield, armor, healing potions, etc. And if you think this is kind of silly, that's fine. Just keep in mind it could be anything. In this case, you can see that he's got a collection of these items. It could be a collection of home inventory items. It could be any collection that you want. The functions such as length will tell you how many items are in there. He'll talk about how you can use the in operator to search through it. He'll talk about how you can use an index value to pull out an individual item. And also how you can pull out multiple items. In this case, he's saying, give me a starting point, give me an ending point, and I'll pull out inventory items from start to finish. This way you could pull out multiple items from it, creating another list. We didn't cover that in the videos, so make sure that you read through the chapter to see that. In addition to that, he's going to talk about the methods again. Now, we did cover these items, but he'll show some examples of how you might use them. I think you'll find it interesting. He'll talk a little bit about how tuples are very similar to lists, but certainly different. He'll talk about how you can create a table of values. In this case, he has a complex collection. He has an individual item and this outer list, then a tuple, then another list inside the list, just to show you that you can mix all kinds of stuff up. Normally you wouldn't do something so ragged as that would be. You'd want to make it a little bit more organized, but you'll see how you could. And he'll talk about the shared references. This has to do with the way memory is managed, and don't let it if you don't get the analogy, if you don't understand exactly how it works, just remember that you can have these collections like lists and tuples and dictionaries, etc. They act as reference types. They refer to a single spot in memory, even if you have multiple variables. And that's all he's talking about. He's just talking about how they react as referenced items. Keep in mind that it doesn't really matter all that much, at least not to me, exactly where Python keeps it. What matters to me is whether things behave as a reference type or a value type. If they behave as a reference, then any changes to one, like in a variable he made up called Mike, and another one he called Honey, if you change one, it should change the other. So if that is the case, I want to know about that, and I can do so by testing it. Towards the end of the chapter, he starts talking about dictionaries. He doesn't go down this path too far, but he does have some examples that you may find interesting. And that pretty much wraps it up. The chapter won't take you very long to read, hopefully. Again, if you have the time, I recommend you type out the code samples, but if not, just copy and paste them from the author's code samples. I'm using Books 24/7. That makes it a little bit easier to copy and paste. But you can also download the author's book files and use them to kind of run the code and see how they work. I know it seems kind of silly to do that, but I have found that keeping your hand on the mouse and being interactive with the reading just makes it go faster and it's more enjoyable, and you also retain a lot more. So I strongly recommend you do that. After you get done watching the videos and reading this chapter, you'll be ready for the assignment. And I'm going to review give you an overview of what the assignment is in the next video. So I will see you there.